You just got to be ready to go. And that's reality. That is the way it is.
Woke up with my piss hot. What a way to start. Sweat on my forehead, racing hard. Woke up with my piss hot. Ready to ignite. Let's raise some hell. Let's own the night.
Daniels, just a rookie. 26 out of 30. 87%. 231 yards. He rushes for 47. He's doing everything. Shredded, baby. C.J. Stroud, 345 yards. Brings the Texans back. Wins it at the buzzer. Shred him, Stroud.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by FLURRY Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the FLURRY Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Week 15 Fantasy Football Stardom Sit-em Show. Glad to be with you here. We're a little earlier than normal on this Thursday. It's chaos out here on the highways of America for your boy and his schedule. So, McAdoo, I appreciate you being able to go a little bit earlier with me this week. I guess it all worked out. But, hey, we're going to set the stage. We're going to get you feeling confident plenty in advance of Thursday Night Football because the playoffs are here, baby. That's right. Fantasy football playoffs in most leagues starting this week, Week 15. Sorry if you started last week with all those buys. We talked about that. I feel for you. McAdoo was one of them. So my condolences go out to you. But if you advance through that, or if your playoffs are starting this week and you are on the path to hopefully winning a championship, we're here to help. So any questions you have for Week 15 lineups, drop them in that chat, wherever you may be watching, YouTube, X, what have you, Twitch. We get them from there sometimes too, so we will answer those. And hopefully we can help you out, get the dub, move on to next week. It's win or go home. McAdoo, how you doing?
We're doing good. Unfortunately, probably not making my own playoffs this year. I mean, I'm a game out, and I need 9 points over the guy who's in 4th right now. Yeah, my playoffs don't start until Week 16, but only 4 teams make it. It's a two-week playoff, so better than we started Week 14. Suck it, but and then another league, I'm the number 1 seed, or I might be the 2 seed actually, but I made it. I unfortunately had to kick one of my Bill's friends out in a YouTuber league, so it is what it is. I gave him the old "I'm sorry, I love you" Shawn Michaels kick, so it is what it is. But we'll keep on moving.
There you go. That's all we can do. Keep on moving. You know, there was that story going around about the one guy who was 2-10 or something a couple weeks ago, and he spent all of his fab on Isaac Garendo. You saw that, right?
Yes.
So in one of my leagues this week, we kind of had the opposite of the guy lost like 6 straight to end the regular season, fell short of the 14 playoff. Well, yesterday he dropped all of his guys and picked up like Israel Abanikanda and all this stuff. And I go in there this morning and I'm like, why is James Conner suddenly on waivers? And then I see a message from the commissioner, don't touch these guys. Like, this isn't fair. So, little salty grapes. I was like, damn, he's selling everybody off. Fire sale, tanking for next year, I guess, but it's redraft. Anyways, we're glad you're all with us. FlurrySports.org. We will dive into our Stardom Sit-em articles, the players we threw in those, time permitting here tonight on the show. Plenty of good stuff. Zach's rankings, Zach Bruner, top fantasy football expert in the industry this season. So check out his rankings, check out the streamers, all that good stuff. We'll mention some of that stuff later on as well. McAdoo, we got a couple questions coming in, though, so let's jump into those and get this thing rolling here. It's playoff time. Abe on X, hellos. Are we starting Zach Charbonnet over Rome Odunze or Quentin Johnston this week? I'm assuming it's one of them if Kenneth Walker is active. So Charbonnet stepped up, did quite well in relief of Walker last week. Not the first time we've seen him do that this season. Seattle's been rolling. Bit more difficult matchup, I guess you could say, this week against the Packers. Although I'm not sure how I feel about Green Bay still after that game last week. Kenneth Walker, I believe, is expected to be back. How do you feel about him plugging him in? This will be a flex position over Rome Odunze of the Chicago Bears, and then Quentin Johnson with the Chargers, where Ladd McConkey should also be back this week.
So, yeah, I got bit by the Charbonnet bug. I had him on my bench, and I even asked my friends, like, hey, should I start Charbonnet over Kyler Murray? And he goes, one's a quarterback, one's a bad running back. He's not, or he's playing a good defense. Always start the quarterbacks. All right. And then Charbonnet goes out and puts 20 points more than Kyler did. And all he needed was 5 to get a fucking bye week. But so guess who doesn't have his bye and now faces you in our Flurry Sports Dynasty. But I wish that Charbonnet and Walker had a more of a 50-50 split going forward, but I don't see it if Walker's active. I like Rome Odunze. I like all the Bears wide receivers this week because they play the Vikings, who have given up the most fantasy points to wide receivers this season, excuse me.
Do you like them enough even after they only put up 4 yards of offense last week? Because I'm going to tell you what I kind of think of that Bears situation. Thomas Brown goes from being the quarterbacks coordinator to offensive coordinator, taking that over. Now he's the interim head coach. Dude's in over his head. I don't think he can handle it. So I have some doubts. I don't think Chicago can run the ball because the Vikings' run defense is pretty solid. Obviously, the weakness there is attacking them down the field. Kenneth Walker, I'll throw in here too. He's very much uncertain for Week 15 still. Missed practice yesterday with that calf injury. So if Kenneth Walker is active, obviously that deteriorates Charbonnet's value. Do I want to start Rome Odunze over him, though? Quentin Johnson's 2 touchdown dependent for me, right? Do we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think you can feel great about starting him, in a must-win scenario here in the fantasy playoffs. I don't know. It's close. You're saying you would definitely start Odunze?
I would start... If it's a PPR, I would absolutely start Odunze over Charbonnet. If it's a standard, I still think I'd go Odunze only because... Actually, I'll go Charbonnet only because you don't know how much Walker plays. He's still listed day-to-day. We don't know how much he's going to play. So as standard, I'll give it to Charbonnet. PPR, Odunze.
Yeah, the last time Walker missed time, he came back, had 12 carries, played 59% of the snaps, 80 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He went off. And that was when he missed a couple weeks back, weeks 2 and 3, due to injury earlier in the year. Charbonnet filled in nicely for him there. I feel like McAdoo has a little more conviction on this than I do. I will say, if you wanna trust the Bears, sure. I don't trust the Bears, but if you want to trust them, sure. That's how I'm gonna leave that. Let's keep going here because we got a bunch popping up. David E. He has to start 2 of Rico Dowdle, Brian Robinson Jr., Zach Charbonnet, and Jonathan Taylor this week. So all running backs here. Rico Dowdle's been playing very well. Let me look at some matchups here for you. Where are we at here? Week 15, there we go. All right. Jonathan Taylor and the Colts, they have a big AFC showdown against the Broncos. Rico Dowdle and the Cowboys take on the Panthers. Brian Robinson Jr. and Washington against the Saints. Zach Charbonnet, obviously, with Seattle in that game against Green Bay. Rico Dowdle, I don't know how you don't start him, just based on his role in the Cowboys offense and how bad Carolina is at stopping the run. So can we agree on him as being one of them? All right. Who would you lean towards for the second one? Obviously, we're going to consider Charbonnet here under the premise that Kenneth Walker is out?
I mean, bullet hole B-Rob faces a New Orleans Saints defense that gives up the 27th most points. They're not 27th most, excuse me. 27th. They were the 27th ranked defense against running backs. I don't know why I'm messing it up. Sleeper's messing with my head right now. So he's got a good matchup. Let me look and see what Jonathan Taylor has.
Broncos are middle of the pack, it looks like, kind of trending
14.
towards the positive side in terms of PPR points allowed. I think you hit the nail on the head. I would probably go Brian Robinson and Rico Dowdle. Just based on the matchups, and it's crazy to say that Jonathan Taylor would be the third choice here, or the odd man out. Now, if Walker does not play, does that elevate Charbonnet into the conversation with those other two? Based on what he did last week, I think you would have to start him.
I think you do. The only problem is with Charbonnet, he's got the Sunday night game. So
Sure.
you won't know until about 7:00 whether you need to put in Charbonnet or not. As for the rest of them, I think they're all 1:00 games. Maybe Taylor's got a 4:00 because he's playing the Broncos. I forget who it's hosting, but I think Jonathan Taylor has the highest floor of them all. But the ceiling definitely goes to Bullet Hole B-Rob, Uncle Rico Dowdle, and Zach Charbonnet.
All right, so let's assume Walker is ruled out ahead of the game. So, going into Sunday, let's say. You're just going to start him, and which of the other two, I guess, if not Taylor, would you pick?
If Walker's out before, we'll say Saturday night, Walker's ruled out, give me Charbonnet and Uncle Rico.
I like it.
If you want to go safe, I'd go Dowdle and Brian Robinson.
I like it. I'm in agreement. I would go Charbonnet and Rico Dowdle. I kind of agree with you, though. Brian Robinson feels a little safer than Dowdle. But if you need, the ceiling for points, I like Dowdle. All right, cool. Sports Spotlight. Quarterback question. 4 points per touchdown in his league. He followed up with a later comment. We have Matthew Stafford or Drake May this week. So Matthew Stafford coming off of a big-time performance where he seemingly made every throw against Buffalo. He and the Rams going tonight, Thursday Night Football, against the 49ers. Big NFC West showdown there. And then Drake May and the Patriots, they have the Arizona Cardinals. Do you have a lean, Mr. McAdoo?
I like Stafford. You got to roll the hot hand here, and especially after playing a team that gave up the fewest points to wide receivers last week, and then gives up, I don't know, probably 400 yards. It was over 400 yards of total offense for the Rams last week. I think it was 457 is what it could end up coming up to. And I don't think there was a lot of rushing yards in that. But so I think you got to lean towards Matt Stafford getting all them passing yards.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be Matthew Stafford for me. Drake May's been nice. I mean, there's hope for the future there in New England. Still, though, you're a rookie. You're going to be dealing with a rookie, rather. And some of the decisions he makes are for sure questionable. So, safe points-wise, I like Stafford tonight in a game where I think there could be more points scored than some might be anticipating.
And I believe there's no Nick Bosa tonight, too, so that's going to make his job a lot easier.
Also, the 4 points per touchdown thing, that's pretty standard. But I will say, just looking at the two comparatively here, you give Matthew Stafford with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua versus Drake May with a hodgepodge of who knows what receivers in New England. If you want to just emphasize the 4 points per touchdown thing, I like Stafford to throw more touchdowns than May. So, kind of the buck stops right there as far as that's concerned for me. Ultimate Tigers fan. Is that Clemson? Is that LSU? I don't know. What's up? Does he risk starting Isaac Guerrero tonight for the Niners? Last I heard on him, he is going to, quote-unquote, try to give it a go with the ankle injury. So he's going to be active. How much does he play, though? He has Tony Pollard and Rachaad White as his other options, although Pollard seems to be hurt now also. what are your thoughts here? I'm going to go out on a limb and say I would rather go with Pollard and Rachaad White, assuming Pollard's healthy. That's my initial lean there. Tony Pollard, ankle, not seen practicing on Thursday. He also did not practice yesterday. So even if my next question would be, is Tyjae Spears owned in your league? Because that might be a guy you just go claim. If Pollard isn't able to play, would you rather go with Garendo tonight, or would you try and pick up like a Tyjae Spears?
If you ask me, I'm going Rachaad White. We don't know anything about Bucky Irving right now. His status for this week is up in the air, and you saw what White did last week against, granted it was the Raiders, but still he was the bell cow because Irving got hurt early, or they were trying to save him. And I don't think they used a lot of was it Sean Tucker? It was one of the Tuckers.
Yeah,
I know. Yep. Okay, I know it was Sean Tucker, Trey Tucker. I didn't know which one was which, but Sean Tucker, I don't think he was used a lot. But my dumb ass had to go pick him up, make sure that I had a running back to start in case Bucky Irving's still hurt. But I don't think that if Bucky Irving's still hurt, I think Rachaad White's going to be a premier running back. As much as I hate to say that.
There's a little concern for me going against the Chargers. I'm going to be completely honest. I read this question as though he had to start two of them. Now rereading it, I see, to see risk starting Garendo. His other options are Pollard and White, so it's probably one. What I would say is definitely hold off until Sunday. How's that? Like, I have my doubts about how much he's going to be used. I don't think he did anything practice-wise all week, did he? Garendo, that is. To your point, Bucky Irving still not practicing himself. He's in jeopardy. Garendo plans to play tonight. Insists he feels good. So if he, has a full complement of touches, I think he has to be put into the RB2 discussion. The question is he going to get that? So that's my concern there. You have two other good options in Pollard and Rachaad White. I think as far as I'm concerned, I would be most comfortable just waiting. And McAdoo's standpoint of liking Rachaad White, I gather he feels the same. Do we agree?
Yeah.
All right. Alex on YouTube. Hello. Start Najee Harris or Tyrone Tracy in the flex spot. A couple of RB2 threshold fringe guys there this week. Najee Harris and the Steelers against Philadelphia, and then Tyrone Tracy with the Giants against Baltimore. Two tough matchups there. McAdoo, I'm not going to spoil part of my article that just got finished up a little bit ago. Who do you like?
Give me Najee. I don't like anyone in the Giants right now. Maybe Malik Neighbors only because his high target volume and he's able to catch them. But other than that, I'm going to eat my words again because last time I said this about an NFC East team, I had the next week in the article I wrote, this is an apology to all the Cowboys. But no, this time, unfortunately, we're not getting horse cocklock. It's tiny cocklock right now apparently. So
where did that big cocklock energy go from last week? You had.
I don't know.
All up in here believing, man.
Now
you don't like any Giants.
We had that big dick energy last week for horse cocklock. It's gone. There is no big dick energy for horse cocklock. It's now tiny cocklock. I mean, you can't look at me at that performance last week and tell me that was even close to medium cocklock.
They're awful, man. And I don't even think it's his fault. Like, look at that offensive line. They can't.
That is fair too. But unfortunately, we can't get horse cocklock right now because of that offensive line. It's more likely small cocklock.
Najee Harris for me. Tyrone Tracy made the Stardom Sit-'em article this week as a sit. Ranked as the 24, RB 24 in the ECR. That's too high as far as I'm concerned. Going up against Baltimore, they allow the fewest rushing yards of any team. And just to highlight some of the other points I had in there, Tracy's yards per carry average has not been good the last few weeks, given just another sentiment of how bad that Giants offensive line is. I don't know that he's going to have much of any rushing room this week against Baltimore. He's been doing a lot of his fantasy scoring. He's found the end zone the last couple games. Got 10 targets, weirdly, in the passing game last week. That was a season high. Only caught 5 of them. Still bumped up his PPR value. I think Tyrone Tracy's risky this week. And, for a flex spot, sure, he's definitely RB3 flex conversation. Najee Harris, though, whereas I think Tyrone Tracy's ranked too high as the RB24, which is the bottom of the RB2 threshold there in a 12-team league. I think Najee Harris is probably right around there. And so, it's a tough matchup against the Eagles. Jaylen Warren might have kind of a higher floor, so to speak, in a way, just because of dump-offs and whatnot in PPR. But when Harris is on the field, he gets carries. All you need him to plunge it in down in the red zone or something. And the Eagles, with the dissension there, who knows? So I would go with Najee Harris in this question. All right. Juan Deere, I have a unique situation. He is down 20 points in a 2-week playoff format league. A.J. Brown at flex also has Rico Dowdle. His quarterback is Jalen Hurts. Would you consider sitting A.J. Brown for Rico Dowdle? The Panthers' defense is terrible. Yes, it is. Panthers are playing hard, though. I give them credit. Even Scott Van Pelt took him out of Poop Town. So, Poop Town. Would you sub in Rico for A.J. Brown? Given all of the dissension there in Philadelphia, which I kind of just alluded to without even looking at this question with the last one. A.J. Brown says they need to fix passing. According to Sal Palantonio, there were like some 6 reporters gathered around his locker yesterday after practice. This is the talk of the town in Philly. Are the Eagles going to force feed him targets? Kellen Moore suggested they might do that. The Steelers is a tough matchup. Last time A.J. Brown bitched publicly was last year, and he had like 6 straight games where he went over 100 yards. Would you bench him for Dowdle?
It's tough. I just looked at their last 2 weeks, and Dowdle has outperformed Brown in both of them.
He has.
I don't know how you have A.J. Brown at the flex, though. I have him at my wide receiver 1 on my redraft. So, you got some studs right there on your team. But it's tough. I feel like you can't take A.J. Brown out of your lineup, though. He's one of those guys that has to, it's like a must start.
I agree with you, especially after the complaints, just based on how that went last year and kind of just personally feeling like Kellen Moore is a putz. I think they're going to force him targets. Now, it's not easy to run the ball against the Steelers. It's not easy to do anything against the Steelers defense for that matter. But, I heard someone say this week, the Eagles never score in the first quarter anyway, so just expect not to score. Why don't you just get Brown his targets early and then go back to running the ball, which you do best? So I thought that was kind of funny. I can't sit A.J. Brown down for Rico Dowdle. Cowboys still have a backup quarterback. The Cowboys are, what's their mentality going to be like going into this game, having basically been eliminated with that awful gaffe last week? They were all big deal. They were coming back, trying to get that last wild card spot. Everyone knew they weren't, I think, except them. And the Panthers' defense is bad, yes, but the Panthers are feisty, and they've been eliminated for a while.
No, they're not eliminated.
I gotta go.
They're not eliminated.
The Panthers?
The only NFC team as of right now that is eliminated is New York Giants.
I stand corrected. The Panthers are not eliminated. Talk to me in a few weeks when they get that 7th wild card. Bottom line, I got to start A.J. Brown here.
They're more than likely not going to get the 7th wild card. Probably the only reason why they're still in is because that NFC South is fucking atrocious, and it's bad to say, but I mean, fucking Falcons are screwing up my parlay. So same with the Niners. I need them to win, or else it's fucking almost over at that point. I knew I should have just cashed out at $200.
Bucks are the best team. Falcons should have hired Hoodie. Now Hoodie's a college coach. Everyone
Stop
wins.
it.
College football is better.
Hoodie only went to fucking North Carolina to go hit on not underage chicks, on college girls. Excuse me.
He's got a girlfriend, bro. He's got a girlfriend.
Well, you think it's going to stop him?
Cooper Kupp, Drake London, or Juwan Jennings. Do not disrespect the hoodie.
I will.
Not on my watch.
It's
Who do
tough.
you like here? Come on.
I don't
Cooper
like
Kupp tonight against the Niners. Drake London with the Falcons against the Raiders. That is a Monday night game. Just FYI. Juwan Jennings obviously tonight too against the Rams.
Do we want to trust anyone in that Falcons offense right now besides Bijan Robinson? I'll start there.
Yes, I think Drake London you have to trust as, a top, what do you want to put him, 15 wide receiver weekly, unless it's an awful matchup. But at the same time, I get what you're saying.
No, Kirk has not played like Kirk. Kirk has fallen off a fucking cliff, and I think he's probably, can we say he's had the worst drop-off since the start of the year?
He's not right. So he's got to be dealing with something, I think.
It's weird that he's gone from
since the start of the year. I think
he went from throwing 509 yards against Tampa Bay in week 5, I think it was, to now he's on my bench because he's so fucking bad right now. Compared to Baker, I almost started Bryce Young this week. That's where we're at in my quarterback situation right now.
That's fair.
And
That's fair.
I mean, Cowboys defense is bad too, but besides the point, I almost want to say Juwan Jennings only because of what he did earlier in the year against this Rams team.
This is the Raiders, though. I'm going to throw this back at you one more time. This is the Raiders we're talking about. Drake London against the Raiders.
What did
sure?
What did Mike Evans do last week?
Didn't Baker Mayfield forget Mike Evans existed for a while in that game or something?
I'm just going to say this. If the Raiders somehow stopped Mike Evans, they are going to stop Drake London and Kirk Cousins.
Mike Evans only had 5 targets. He caught 4 of them for 69 yards. Not bad.
That's 10.9 points. I don't, and that's out of Mike Evans. I don't trust Drake London and Kirk Cousins. That I trust them less than Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans at this point in time.
Okay, so you would go Juwan Jennings even over Cooper Kupp here? I love Jennings tonight. I think these are all good options. Just walking you through it. Let's see where these guys are.
ECR wise?
ECR. Okay. Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 15. Drake London, 2 spots ahead of him. Wide receiver 13. Juwan Jennings, 2 spots behind him at wide receiver 17. So, like I say, they're all good options. Do you agree with that order of ranking?
No, because I just said London's the one guy I would take out here.
Don't want to trust. Okay.
But Kupp and Jennings are there, and I think they're the better options. And I think I'm gonna go big balls and go Jennings over Kupp.
All right.
We're having a lot of talk about balls and cock today. Jesus.
You got something on your mind, man. I like Jennings a lot tonight. It would have to be starting London or Kupp for me. I don't know how you necessarily write London off entirely in that matchup. I know McAdoo's point of the Raiders took away Mike Evans to an extent last week. How much of that was them taking him away? How much of that was he's dealing with a hamstring injury that has forced him to miss practice as far as today goes? So hard telling there. I think if Kirk Cousins is going to have a bounce back game, it's this game. He did say it's full PPR. London or Kupp. It's close. It's close, and I wouldn't fault you for going without any of them, to be completely honest. So I like your position in general. GP, Jordan Addison, Juwan Jennings, or Keenan Allen. He has to start 2. Juwan Jennings is definitely one of these for me, just coming out of that last conversation. So that brings it to Jordan Addison, Keenan Allen for that second spot. Addison coming off his best game ever last week. 3 touchdowns. Keenan Allen playing for those good old Chicago Bears there, McAdoo. And they go up against each other, Vikings v. Bears. Who do you like?
I mean, I've already said the Vikings have the worst defense when it comes to covering wide receivers. So I want to lean Keenan Allen, but we've said this time and time again, you have to roll with the hot hand, and Jordan Addison is that hot hand after whatever the hell he did last Sunday.
That he
So-
is. And it wasn't just last Sunday either. The last 4 games for Addison, 8 targets, 9 targets, 6 targets, and then 12 targets last week. A couple of games in there, he only caught 3 of the 8 in the first one and then 4 of the 6 in that lesser targeted game a couple weeks back. But when you have a guy like Justin Jefferson, he completely changes what teams have to do defensively. And Jordan Addison, now that he's fully healthy and has that rapport built up, I think with Sam Darnold, we're starting to see him reap the benefits. T.J. Hawkinson back in there as well. That's another guy who draws attention. So it would be Jennings and Addison for me. All right. If Garendo doesn't play tonight, which it looks like he's going to, should he flex Patrick Taylor or Tyrone Tracy? So this is potentially an obsolete question. But if you had to flex one, if Garendo doesn't play, or if you'd rather start one of them, I guess, McAdoo, I'll even throw that at you. Which would it be?
I think Garendo if he plays, but if not, I don't like it. Tyrone Tracy, I guess. I don't know how much they're going to use Pat Taylor compared to Bataconda, so I think you got to go with the guy who's more than likely to get the ball in New York over the guys who are going to get split.
That is fair enough. Oh, that would be really close for me. I see McAdoo's point. If you want to avoid the uncertainty of it, for sure, I guess I would start Tyrone Tracy. That matchup is just ugly, though. And if you think Kyle Shanahan's going to do, his 1 RB philosophy, keep that going. Patrick Taylor did not play badly after Garendo exited last week, so I could see the argument going with him as well. That's kind of a splitting hairs gut call, I guess. If you want to avoid the concerns about usage, I guess Tyrone Tracy would be your guy there. Follow-up question. How confident are we that Patrick Taylor will do good? So, yeah, we kind of just addressed that. McAdoo, I think I'm more confident than McAdoo in a way. I could see a case of ranking even. If Garendo for certain is out, I could see a strong argument for ranking Taylor 1 or 2 spots higher, 3 spots maybe even, depending on where you want to put Tyrone Tracy just in a running back rankings for this week. So I think he'll be fine. I think they're both outside of the RB2 threshold. How's that? That's kind of where I would say I feel maybe low 20s, early 30s for both of them, that range. All right. Let's keep going. PZ on X. Garendo just made things sticky. I like that. Him, London, or James Conner? Full PPR. So this comes back to the question of if Garendo plays, how confident are you that, he's heavily used? Which I don't think either one of us necessarily are. RB2 conversation at best. If you're looking at Drake London or James Conner as your other 2 options, you got to rule Garendo out, I'm pretty sure, just given the uncertainty, correct?
Yes.
And I already know that you're going to say James Conner because we've been over how you feel about Drake London. So this is going to be a little closer for me, but McAdoo, why James Conner? Hype him up while I think about this.
He's playing against the Patriots, and the Patriots are not good. Is there any more you need there?
That's touche. Patriots allowing roughly 23 fantasy points PPR per game to opposing backs. James Conner's a workhorse, fresh off a bye. He just got that extension recently, the new deal. Give me James Conner. It's close, but the concerns about Kirk Cousins and all that, sure. Give me James Conner. There's also a case, I could see too, Kirk Cousins may get right, but the Falcons may not need to throw the ball a whole heck of a lot to win that game. So it might just be a win and get out of there type thing. So, yeah, James Conner. follow up there on the 49ers backfield. Taylor is fourth string, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. All right, Stephen Grease, welcome back. He's thinking about sitting A.J. Brown this week. That would be tough to do, so we got to have some good options here. It's full PPR. Instead, Jamar Chase and Juwan Jennings at wide receiver, and Ladd McConkey, Rico Dowdle at flex instead. Thoughts? If not, who do you sit? I'm not sitting A.J. Brown in favor of... I'm not sitting him in favor of Juwan Jennings, Ladd McConkey, or Rico Dowdle. Do you agree?
Yeah, but you only have to sit one, and you just listed three guys.
Yeah.
I think you have to take Ladd out in this situation. Like we said before, Rico Dowdle's facing a bad Panthers defense. Juwan Jennings, I believe you have to start him against this Rams defense, like in case he does what he did last time.
Agree.
So I think Ladd's the odd man out here.
I do as well. I was touching on A.J. Brown. I wouldn't be sitting him, thinking about sitting A.J. Brown. The only guy I would say I would rather start if it was like any of these guys for one spot would be Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So looking at this, breaking it down for you, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown would be your wide receiver 1 and 2. And then your flex spots, we agree on Juwan Jennings tonight. We like him. And then Rico Dowdle. Ladd McConkey coming off that injury there. The Chargers in that game against the Buccaneers, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. In some ways, I know the Bucs haven't been great defensively, but yeah, it would be McConkey, the odd man out there. All good options, though. Two flex spots, and you got those options. Good for you, Steven. He added on, seems that Rico Dowdle has a juicy matchup. And then Jennings and McConkey have been good with fine matchups. Dowdle does have a good matchup against the Panthers. So, yeah. We'll go that route. Rock out. Tua Tagovailoa, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy. 3 quarterbacks. I'm assuming we're going to just start one. But we can even just rank them. So you have 2, if it is a 2 quarterback or a super flex scenario. I think they're all good this week. I would say they're all QB1 status. Tagovailoa against Houston, Brock Purdy against the Rams, Bo Nix with the Broncos against the Colts in that big game. I love Purdy tonight. I think, this is kind of last stand for the 49ers. If they lose this game, they're done. So even with those injuries, I think he'll be solid. Rams defense, no great shakes. And then Tua or Bo Nix, I guess, would be the second option there for me. I'd probably inclined to go with Tua.
The weird thing is, I think we're backwards. I like Bo. I think he's found his home in Denver, and I think he's got his number. He's got a good receiver in Cortland Sutton. He's finding Vele and all the other guys there too. And then Tua, the lefty. Something about that matchup. I don't know what it is. Just Houston's on their downfall. I feel like maybe not their full downfall, but they're coming down a little bit. And then Brock Purdy, there's something like they didn't get it done last time. And this team is much worse than what they were the first time they played the Rams in week 2. So give me Nick to a Purdy.
All right, that's fair enough. More than one way to skin a cat, I guess. I like Purdy in the matchup against the Rams. Just simply, the Rams just played that high-scoring war last week, and I really do think that 49ers kind of got out of their funk against Chicago. So I think that's a good spot for him. And then as far as the other two, I can see a scenario, I think, where that Broncos-Colts game might be a little more low-scoring. Colts try to run the ball, play keep away with Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, something like that. And, you said Bo Nix has a good weapon. Tua's got 2 weapons that I would argue are both better than Cortland Sutton in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think
maybe
Houston
the third with Jonnu.
Yeah, even Jonnu as well. I think Houston's reinvigorated out of the bye this week, but Dolphins are in must-win mode here too. So I think it's a game that no matter what the final outcome is, Tua has opportunities to kind of pad the fantasy stats a little bit. They might be trailing, they might be in a shootout, either or. So I guess that's kind of how I feel about him in that matchup. All right, Jelly of the month. Good evening to you as well. Half PPR flex. His current flex is Isaiah Pacheco. Okay. Do we switch in Jaden Reed, 0 points last week? Tyrone Tracy, bad matchup versus Baltimore run defense. Yep. Or Jalen Waddle. Good matchup, but is he healthy? That same Dolphins-Texans matchup there. Isaiah Pacheco made the running back start-sit article as a start. I think his role is growing. I think the Chiefs, I mean, it's blatantly obvious that he is light years ahead of Kareem Hunt at this stage in Hunt's career in terms of what they can do when they have the football. I don't know that you're going to necessarily get a huge output from Pacheco against Cleveland. Run defense been sneaky all right, but I like him this week as an RB2 or as a high-end RB3 flex. So that's how, I'm reading into him. McAdoo, do you want to do anything with either receiver? Because I'm assuming you're going to agree with me that Tyrone Tracy is below Pacheco, so we can rule him out right away.
Yes. You're not, like I said, the only reason why I chose Tracy earlier is because I had to. It wasn't
right
by choice.
Yeah.
And if I'm ranking the two receivers, give me Waddle over Reed. Yes, Waddle's limited with a hamstring, but there is no questionable tag on him yet.
I would agree. Do you want to start one of them over Pacheco? Half PPR, too. So that kind of, to me, gives me all the more push to utilize Pacheco in that spot, I think.
Who do the Chiefs play again this week?
Cleveland.
Yeah, I'll start Pacheco. I don't. It's just some devil magic's going to happen, and the Chiefs are going to win again. So
they're too good, man. They're too good, and a little too lucky, I think, too. All right, so Isaiah Pacheco, keep him in there. Best of luck to you, Mega Brick. Hello. Everything is on the line. We've tried all year for this. Yes, we have. If you had to choose, do we start Brock Purdy tonight against the Rams or Jared Goff against the Bills in what many are expecting to be a track meet up in Ford Field? Look at Max. He doesn't want to do this. No. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to go against the Bills.
I don't. But I literally took out Jared Goff in one of my other lineups and put in Tua so I didn't have to start Goff. But yes, we are beating Goff this week. Go Bills.
So do you want to start him over Brock Purdy?
Yes.
I'll make this really easy for you. I don't want to.
Oh my God, I'm really the one. You're wearing the Dan Campbell sweater, and I'm in the Bills hat, and I'm saying start Goff, and you're saying bench him?
That's my favorite part of the intro is when Bruner jumps up in the screen. Does that with this hoodie. I love it. Rise and grind, baby. Yeah, Brock Purdy tonight for me. I like both of them. I think they could both be QB1s in terms of production this week, but I would go Brock Purdy.
Is it because of the short week off of whatever the hell Sunday was for the Bills and Rams?
No. I just don't think the Rams defense is very good at all. Like, I mean, we just watched Buffalo go nuts, and you're going to give more credit to the Bills offense is good, I think, than I am as a neutral observer. I don't think the Rams defense is any good, especially the secondary.
I think, well, yeah, maybe, but as we saw Sunday, the fucking Bills defense got exposed. Maybe I think Dan Campbell was paying attention on that mini bye that they've had. They've had more time to prepare for this, so.
Mm-hmm. I think the Lions are going to be a downhill running team in that game. Where I don't know. I maybe you can even say Purdy's mobility is better than Goff's if you want to. I don't know. It's you're kind of splitting hairs in a way, but I would go Purdy over Goff, and I kind of feel good about it. For some reason, I feel good about the Niners tonight, and that's probably bad news based on the read I have on some of these games, or I think I have in the NFL this year. So I don't know. Do what you want. You have a Bills fan sitting there telling you he might start Jared Goff in this case. So, Mega Brick again. It is the same team. It's a full PPR, by the way. We need to sit one of Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jerry Jeudy, or Juwan Jennings. And we have hyped up Juwan Jennings a fair bit here. McAdoo has taken a big fat dump over Drake London and the Falcons a little bit, but I don't know how you sit him out of this foursome. You can't sit St. Brown. So to me, it comes down to Jeudy or Jennings.
And like I said before, the Chiefs have some very good devil magic right now. And Jerry Jeudy might have that hot hand, but the Chiefs defense is going to lock down Jerry Jeudy. It's just the way of the road.
I think I'm with you. I would probably sit Jerry Jeudy, but I could also see, if you wanted to start Brock Purdy at quarterback and then have a wide receiver from a different team just to spread out your resources a little bit. Like Jeudy and Jennings are right there. You know what? Start Jeudy. Give me Jerry Jeudy over Juwan Jennings. I'm going to believe in Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is going to break up whatever this magic McAdoo says the Chiefs have. I don't know if it's magic or if they're just a good football team with a really good defense.
Andy Reid sold his soul.
But you mean Travis Kelce? Yeah, give me Jerry Jeudy. Travis Kelce definitely did. Bryce, hello, what's up? Fellas, pick one PPR. George Kittle, Jacoby Myers, Drake London. So George Kittle obviously in the game tonight. Jacoby Myers has been solid as about the only wide receiver the Raiders have that is healthy. I don't think we're going to take him here just based off of the names. And then Drake London, obviously, Monday Night Football, that same game against the Raiders.
You're not starting Jacoby Myers. Desmond Mitter is not a good quarterback. He's going to be there to lead the tank right through Las Vegas so he get the number one pick and so he can take Shador or Cam Ward. That's what it is.
Agreed.
As for who you should start, I don't know. I hate starting tight ends in the flex. I broke my own rule this year when I started Jonnu Smith in the flex. But I also had Brock Bowers starting a tight end, so I think reasonable.
Here you go. George Kittle's last 3 games. He had 1 dud against the Bills. The whole Niners team forgot to show up in that game. 6 targets, 6 receptions in the other 2. Scored a touchdown in the first one. Went for 151 yards last week. 20-plus PPR points. He missed Week 11. They had a bye in Week 9. Other than that, and then that Week 13 game against the Bills, Kittle has gone for 14.5 PPR points or more and has scored 20-plus in, count them, at 6 games this year. The only other time he had single-digit points, Week 1. This might be a case of, especially knowing how you feel about Drake London, you break that tight end in the flex rule.
Yes, and he just said he has Bowers as a tight end too. Yeah, I think you have to start George Kittle here. Well, put Kittle in the tight end spot, put Bowers in the tight end spot because Kittle plays tonight.
Okay. Would you consider sitting... well, no, that doesn't make sense. So, yeah, you would start both tight ends? Yep, I agree. All right. Mega Brick with another one here. We have a full PPR tight end question. Hunter Henry or Cade Otton? Hunter Henry and the Pats against Arizona. Cade Otton and the Bucks against the Chargers. Otton's seen a significant drop-off in terms of target share since Mike Evans returned. And then Hunter Henry, Patriots don't have a whole lot of reliable weapons there on offense. They got some young receivers, I think, that are playing better, kind of finding their groove a little bit with Drake May, but Hunter Henry's going to continue to be that, that safety valve, security blanket over the middle of the field, whatever you want to call him. I think I would go with him.
Yep.
I like the matchup better, too.
I think Hunter Henry was in my start him, sit him article. I don't remember. I wrote it so long ago. 2 days ago.
Well, there you go. Let's see here. The Cardinals have given up the 7th fewest points to the tight end position, but the Chargers are right there with them. So in terms of matchup wise, I don't know that it necessarily makes a difference. The Cardinals have given up, let's see here, a couple of touchdowns to the tight ends, it looks like. I would say Hunter Henry's probably a good bet to make that another one, just based on how the Patriots like to use him there down in the red zone and such. So Hunter Henry over Otten. Clap nuts. Do we start James Cook or Isaac Guerrero? Full PPR. Bills fan. I guess talk to McAdoo because I don't know anything about that life. Would you chance starting Guerrero over James Cook tonight, assuming he plays? I don't think so either.
I think Cook just had a bad matchup last week. The Bills got shafted at the start of the game, so they had to just try to come from behind, and they couldn't get the run going because of that.
Yeah, agreed. James Cook, still an RB2, in that mix, the top 20 to 24 backs there, regardless of what's going on, I think, with Guerrero. Dylan Fink, love the questions tonight, guys. Keep them coming for a little bit longer. Fantasy playoffs, yes. Full PPR. 1 running back, 1 flex. Bucky Irving if he plays. K9 if he plays. He has Sean Tucker or Braylon Allen. Isaiah Davis. If either of those two above miss. I'm struggling to read through this here. Smitty, Jamo, 1 tight end. Fryermuth, Zach Ertz. He has McLaurin starting. Okay. Full PPR, we need 1 running back. Bucky Irving if he plays. Who is K9?
Kenneth Walker.
Okay, thought so. I
think Smitty is Jackson Smith and Jigba.
And
then
J-Mo
is
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams.
Okay. Yeah, yep. All right. So if Kenneth Walker plays, he's the running back, correct? Even if Bucky Irving plays as well?
I'm guessing. He said pick, I think he said pick 1 running back.
Right. So this is kind of a loaded question. Okay. If Bucky Irving plays, Sean Tucker's eliminated. If Bucky Irving doesn't play, that's the only chance you would consider.
I think
Sean
Tucker is in. He's going to put Tucker in if we say Irving and he doesn't play.
Okay.
Walker in, and if he doesn't go, which at this time you're screwed, you can't do Braylon Allen and Davis.
Because that's a late game, yes. Would you rather start Bucky Irving or Kenneth Walker, assuming both go?
Fully healthy, give me Bucky Irving. Not fully healthy, though. That's the problem.
All right. That would be Kenneth Walker for me, so we differ right there. I'm going to say Kenneth Walker plays. I like him. Bucky Irving plays. Obviously, I like him. If both miss, I would have to say it'd be Braylon Allen out of the other 3 you have there. Ooh. Even though Isaiah Davis is still going to be there, I would still start Braylon Allen over Sean Tucker and Isaiah Davis. And this is, of course, assuming Breece Hall's out again.
What were the point splits between Braylon Allen and Davis last week? Because I know Davis got a touchdown.
Davis outscored him, yes, thanks to the touchdown. Braylon Allen had 11 carries, 43 yards, 4 catches on 5 targets, 12.1 PPR points. Isaiah Davis had the touchdown, 13 total touches, 10 for 40 on the ground, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 15.7. Both played basically identical number of snaps, just over 50%.
Okay, so I think the running back. Right, who is your running back? Who are you going with your running back?
If Kenneth Walker plays him, if Kenneth Walker misses and Bucky Irving plays him, if they both miss, I think Braylon Allen.
Flip Irving and K9, and I'm with you.
Okay.
And then we need a flex, which I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba over Kenneth Walker, regardless.
Okay. I can get on board with that. Although if Kenneth Walker plays, he would be my running back, so then Smith and Jigba would be my flex anyways. And then as far as the tight end is concerned, would you go Freiermuth with Pickens out again, or would you go Zach Ertz? I think even though you're starting McLaurin, I would have to go Zach Ertz too.
I think Ertz was a start for me.
Tough matchup for Freiermuth against the Eagles. I like what Washington has, much more favorable going against the Saints. So, I think that would be how I'd break that down. So, hopefully that made sense. Sorry we struggled with figuring out the question there. I got completely lost in that. So, Kenneth Walker, Bucky Irving, the top two running backs there. We differ on which we like better, so that's kind of up to you to determine who you want to trust more. I think we agreed on Braylon Allen as the running back, correct? If
Yes.
both of those guys
If
are out.
they're both out.
Correct. So Braylon Allen, if both guys are out, as that one running back, and we both like Smith and Jigba as the flex, really regardless of what the running back situation is, I think, for both of us. So, and then Zach Ertz is the tight end. All right. Thank you, Dylan. That was fun. I don't get confused often, but when I do, it looks like that. Okay. Bryce again. Starting Brock Bowers at tight end. Okay, that was going back to... Okay, that was from that other question with the Kittle.
The Kittle question.
All right. Sorry. Pate. We need to start too. Isaac Garendo tonight. Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Isaiah Pacheco.
And he adds Najee Harris later.
And Najee Harris. And it is a full PPR. Okay. Got a lot of good receiver options here. Some interesting running back options. How do you feel about Devontae Smith just with all the A.J. Brown saga? I guess, like, what is your outlook for him? How involved he is, on the other side of that equation this week?
So I think the missing piece, I don't know if A.J. Brown realizes this, they've been running the ball a lot more, and it's worked. They're winning the games now because they're running the ball more, giving it to... Well, this is what I received today in my Funko Pop thing. A giant Saquon Barkley. Yeah, that came out this year. I love how this fucking company screws me over every fucking year. But
after he said "fuck you" to the Giants.
Yeah, I love, this is the second year they've done a guy who has been on the team. Last year, the excuse was there's Aaron Rodgers. He's a legend there. Okay, I'll let it pass. This year, Saquon Barkley, the Giants should not be a thing.
You know what the interesting thing is, too, about the Eagles is I've listened to Michael Lombardi talk about this a fair bit. Howie Roseman he's kind of putting his own interests aside as he would prefer to throw the ball to be successful. But because their strength is running the football, that's what they're doing. And it's been working to the extent, A.J. Brown just being the diva he is. I don't like Devontae Smith in the matchup against Pittsburgh for two reasons. One, the Eagles want to run the ball. Two, when they're throwing the ball, I kind of feel like it's going to be going to A.J. Brown a whole heck of a lot. So
Grant, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah. Yep. Dallas Goedert might be back too, right?
I don't know. I know Cantalera was like not fancy dime, but a waiver wire star, I guess.
No, he was actually placed on IR. I missed that one. Okay. So no Goddard, but I don't like Devontae Smith, so I think I'm going to eliminate him from the two we're going to be starting here, as I would prefer the other two receivers over him. As far as Mike Evans and T. Higgins, I would probably rank them in that order. I think the way to beat the Chargers defense is down the field. The Bengals, who knows what kind of effort you're going to get out of them. just kind of a trashy game there going against Tennessee. Garendo, we've talked a lot about the concerns with him and just how much usage does he get tonight if he goes, which supposedly he's going to. And then you have Isaiah Pacheco, who I would feel more confident starting over Garendo. As far as picking two to start, I think it would be Mike Evans and T. Higgins for me. What say you?
Mike Evans, yes. T. Higgins, hell no. He's playing against the Titans, who give up who I think they're the worst. Like they're the 32nd most when it comes to giving up points to wide receivers. So for that reason, give me Pacheco.
Okay.
You guys made me a Titans believer, and now I'm giving out these points back right at you.
Defense is not bad, I told you.
And the Titans let me down last week, damn it.
They shut down Mac Jones until that one drive in the fourth quarter, man. That takes a lot. And then I forgot Najee Harris just kind of in that discussion. So you're taking Pacheco over Higgins. So for you, this is relevant. Do you like Pacheco over Najee as well?
Yes. I don't like the Browns. The Browns are dog shit.
Give me Evans and Higgins. McAdoo's got Evans and Pacheco. We're both iffy on Garendo. Full PPR league, I'll take the receivers. All right. We're already at the hour mark. Any other last-minute questions? I guess drop them in there. We're not going to be able to go all the way up to game time tonight, but it's been a good discussion here. So anything else you need for the first round of the playoffs or whatever round you may be in, as we have different leagues doing different things, fire it at us here in these last couple minutes. McAdoo, we've kind of been hitting on some players that made the articles. You're welcome, Pate. Appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. McAdoo, we've kind of been hitting on some players in the articles here with some of these questions. Was there anyone you wanted to highlight from either your wide receiver or tight end article that we have not talked about yet? You can give me a start and or a sit from each that you really want to hit on. Somebody, surprising pick, or you want to bolster confidence for a guy who's on the fringes there, people might overlook. What are you thinking?
So let me do both the wide receivers because they were ranked way lower than I thought they were on Fantasy Pros, and that's Devontae Adams, who was 15th when I looked, and DJ Moore, which was 24th when I looked. I think those are they're too low for both of them guys being wide receiver ones, like high end wide receiver ones. Yeah, like why are they? Okay, they're like why? That's 2 and 3. Respectively for them, that's too low for me. They should be top 10 both week in pretty much every week. Like I granted DJ Moore, okay, I'll maybe 15th at worst because of Caleb Williams, but still, he shouldn't be this low. We got another question.
Pate again. Tight end question now: Kincaid or Pitts? This is an interesting one.
This is an awful matchup for both. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it.
All right. Do you have a preference? Dalton Kincaid, I feel like, has been very underwhelming.
He's been injured the past 4 weeks.
And he's been injured. And then Kyle Pitts is just underwhelming every single game of every single year, pretty much. So
this hurts my heart both ways, you asshole.
It would have to be Pitts, I think, though, over Kincaid coming back from the injury and all that, right?
Yeah, you have to. I can't start Kincaid regardless. I don't know if he's back. He was still out last week. I don't know if he's going to be back this week. Regardless, you have to go Pitts because you don't. Even with Kincaid, if he comes back, you don't know what his snap count's going to be.
Yeah, he hasn't played since week 11. He was a full participant in practice today. It was a low-intensity practice, whatever that means.
Means they sat at home. They canceled practice. Literally, all they did was have team meetings on Zoom.
I don't think it was that bad, but all reports indicate he's going to return. But to your point, what's the snap count like? Bad matchup for both. Maybe Pitts is somebody that Cousins tries to get more involved as the Falcons try to just win a damn game at this point. So I think we're in agreement on Kyle Pitts over Dalton Kincaid. And one last question from Pate. Brian Robinson or Ladd McConkey? McConkey coming back after missing a game with injury on his own right. Brian Robinson should be a little bit more healthier off the bye. He was dealing with some stuff for several weeks there going into it. Missed some time of his own right. Give me Brian Robinson against the Saints. I like
Give me
watching
bullet
him this week.
hole.
There you go. I thought you almost said butthole, but no, bullet hole.
Yes,
Good.
butthole B-Rob. Thank you. Rooter,
All right.
new T-shirt idea.
Not my idea. Not mine. Disassociate. Go back to what you were talking about there with the receivers. We got through Pate's questions there. Anybody else has any last-minute things they need us to try and figure out for them as far as Week 15 lineups? Let us know in the chat. McAdoo, you may continue your discussion.
We'll just go to tight ends. I said my piece with wide receivers.
Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, ranked too low
those are both
according to Mr. McAdoo.
Wait a minute, why can't I find the other one? Okay, there we go. Tight ends. Surprisingly, I think Dalton Schultz is a start this week. The Dolphins give up the 14th most points to tight ends. In the last 4, they've given up 19 points to the tight ends per game. So Dalton Schultz might be a sneaky good play. And then sitting, I have no other than Kyle Pitts, who, like I said, do we want to trust anyone in the Falcons offense besides Bijan Robinson? Kyle Pitts, I thought this was the year. Arthur Smith is gone. You can finally trust him. And no, they don't know how to fucking utilize him. Get him the fuck out of Atlanta, please. It's frustrating.
And now you've learned that Arthur Smith was never the problem there. Huh.
He's always a problem! Actually, he might not be because Pittsburgh's actually doing well.
Yeah, Arthur Smith took the fall for some poor front office people there. That's how I see that. Agree with you, Kyle Pitts. I don't want to start him. He's not a tight end 1. We like him over Dalton Kincaid, so at least he has that going for him. Who was the other guy you talked about?
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. I can get on board with that. I think Houston needs to try some different things to jumpstart. I don't know that I would be quite as high on him as you, but I guess I can see the argument for sure. I think it's a heavy Nico Collins, Joe Mixon game. And then, but I could also see that game turning into a shootout there against Miami. So
it needs to be a fucking high-end Tank Dell goddamn game this week.
That too. Chandler, what's up, man? Let's see. Does he start Deebo Samuel or Isaac Garendo? So a little in-house 49ers question. It's PPR, and Deebo said on his social media that he isn't getting targets. Do we think that they feed him this week? Interesting here because Deebo could be involved in the running game as well. How much is Garendo going to be used? I kind of want to see if I can find anything else.
There's every league I've benched Garendo. I have Garendo and I have him benched except for one where I kind of have to start him because the only other option for me is actually there's 2. There's Bonaconda that I picked up, or it's Devin Singletary. And so I think you just have to stay with the risk of Garendo in that situation.
Okay, so you like him over Deebo Samuel?
No, I'm going Deebo. I was saying
Okay.
I would have Garendo. I would bench Garendo, but the only reason why I had Garendo in that one league is because I have to.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about Deebo. I feel like he's just underwhelming. If I can count on Garendo having the touches, which I have no idea if we can.
Do you count on Garendo going the whole game? That's the other thing.
That too.
The fact that it was,
I think Debo's like a fringe wide receiver 3.
I have him ranked at wide receiver 5 on Fantasy Pros. He was 41 when I looked.
Well, in a 12-team league, that would be a wide receiver 4. But I think he's definitely wide receiver 36, 35, so I would have him higher than that. This is gross. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull up the old X and see if I can see anything else on Berendo. I'm gonna try and cheat.
You're not gonna
give me
find
something.
Are we? Yeah, we're just hit 90 minutes before game time. You might see something. Oh, he's inactive. Ooh.
Yeah. He's warming up 4 minutes ago. Pure's set to play tonight. People saying the start-sit decision is agonizing. Oh boy, that's about how I feel right now, trying to answer your question in a decent way. He's warming up though, so he's gonna play. Give me you gotta go Garendo. You gotta go Garendo, right?
I don't trust him going the whole game though. That's the thing. Like,
But do you trust Deebo Samuel to get more than like 4 targets and catch 2 of them? And as far as the ground game is concerned, what has he done lately? Not a whole lot. Deebo Samuel has not scored double-digit fantasy points since week 10. He had 12.6 in that game. They had a bye sandwiched in between that in week 8. He had 12.6 there. He dropped a goose egg in week 7. That was when
He
he
was
got
injured.
hurt or sick or something, yeah. And then, he hasn't scored more than a half dozen points in the last 4 games. And that's with all of these injuries. I got to go Garendo. It's a hold your nose situation. Both cases, you can't trust either one of them. You don't start either one and feel great about it. So I know what you're saying. I just think Garendo's out there warming up. That post video was 4 minutes ago on the timeline. So, Chandler, I might ask you, what other options do you have available, if any? Just out of curiosity. But of those two, we're split. And neither of us feel great about the stance we're taking. But I'm going to stand with Garendo here.
no. But
if you
2-minute
have
warning.
other
I'm
options-
saying it. 2-minute warning. Get your questions in if you have any.
Yeah.
For all of you that need the questions, just 2 minutes.
If you do have any other options there, Chandler, let us know. We'll circle back to that. Juan Pena Jr., wide receiver 2, RB1 and 2, and flex. Okay, we got a loaded one here. He has Justin Jefferson at wide receiver 1. His other options for wide receiver 2 are Jennings, Myers, Darnell Mooney, MVS, McAdoo's boy, Xavier Worthy, and then his running backs, we need to fill 2. Well, let's break this down. Wide receiver 2, Jennings, Myers, Mooney, MVS, and Xavier Worthy. My initial lean there would be Juwan Jennings.
Agreed. It's fucking Myers, and you can't trust Valdez Scantling right now because you don't know. Is it Jake Haener officially getting the start, or are they going back to?
I hope it's Jake Haener, but I don't know for certain on that. Either way, it's ugly.
No, yeah, it's not Carr. Bench him.
Oh, Derek Carr just decided he wanted to be done playing football for the season or something.
I like me
That
some
play
Derek
last
Carr.
week.
Okay.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings would be the receiver there. I believe Jacoby Myers would probably be my second choice. Running backs, we need RB1 and 2. Breece Hall, Stevenson, Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams, Zach Charbonnet. So we've got some injury concerns there. See if I cannot find...
I think Breece is still questionable.
Yeah, Breece Hall missed practice again today with that knee injury. Kenneth Walker missed practice. That was the Seahawks' first because they play... No, it would have been their second. They play on Sunday night. My bad. All right. I don't know how you sit Kyron Williams with Nick Bosa out. I don't even think that matters, right? Like, Kyron Williams has to be here as one of them. And then, as
I don't
far
know.
as these...
Charbonnet just went off a lot on Stevenson. I mean, it's not on Stevenson, on the Cardinals, and Stevenson's playing against the Cardinals this week.
Yeah, so that was going to be my second point. If I would take the Seattle running back who plays. If Walker's out, definitely Charbonnet. If Walker's in, I think you can start him and Kyron Williams. I like Ramondre Stevenson as well. So then we fall to the flex spot. It's tight ends. He has George Kittle and Tucker Kraft. Definitely starting George Kittle as the tight end, so Tucker Kraft falls into this flex consideration. I don't think we're going to be using him based on the other players here. For me, it would be Stevenson as the next option there, right? Over all of the receivers. And then if you have a healthy Walker or not, you're starting the Seahawks back. And then I would go Stevenson as the flex. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So that takes care of that. Good stuff. Pick 2, Matthew Stafford, Alvin Kamara, Mike Evans. It's for a flex and super flex, maybe? Alvin Kamara, Mike Evans. I don't know what that is. Joshua Zinel, he has Chase Brown and Chuba Hubbard for his running backs. Juwan Jennings and CeeDee Lamb for his receivers. Khalil Shakir at his flex. Brandon Cooks, Jaden Reed, Kenneth Walker on my bench. Should I make any changes? The only change I would even consider here is if Kenneth Walker plays, and I would not be starting him over either Chase Brown or Chuba Hubbard. And as far as Khalil Shakir goes, at the flex, McAdoo, what would you do? Kenneth Walker if he goes, or Khalil Shakir? You're the Bills expert.
It's not on the Bills at this point. It's on if we think Walker's going to have a full availability.
Correct. I think I would have to play him. But then again, you're relying on that news to come down, before
8
the
o'clock.
Bills game kicks off, which luckily the Bills is the late afternoon window, correct?
Yeah,
so
they're the nationwide CBS game, which we have two. We have the 2 doubleheaders this week, so more football for us.
Yep. So you would need that Walker news before the Bills kick off, 4 hours in advance of the Seattle game. I think you're good unless Walker plays, and if they say he's good to go, keep an eye on what his practice status is tomorrow. Maybe that'll give you an inkling. I think I would put him in over Khalil Shakir. That's how I feel about that. And McAdoo's nodding, so I'm going to take it he's okay with that.
Yes.
George C., Chase Brown on Sunday, or Juwan Jennings tonight. Half PPR. I don't know how you sit Chase Brown. I mean, I know you're all about the Titans defense at this point, but Chase Brown is the guy out of the Bengals backfield. So as much as we both seem to like Juwan Jennings tonight, it has to be Chase Brown, right?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because that was a very slow yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm more confident than McAdoo, but Chase Brown. All right. Let's wrap this thing up and get out of here. FLURRYSports.org. Go check out the Stardom Situm articles. You want more insight on players in the RB, wide receiver, and tight end 2 range conversation as far as the rankings are concerned. See how we feel about those guys. You got Bruner's rankings that'll be updated over there. Going into Sunday games, Monday games, whatnot. He will continue to update those. So check back on those. Playoffs are here, baby. Start sit decisions. We got to nail them because it is win or go home. So, and then you got streamers over there. If you have an injury or whatnot, you need to grab somebody off waivers to deepen your bench, block an opponent, whatever you think you got to do. We're in the season of the playoffs where, you might pick someone up just so your opponent doesn't have them. If they have a need, you identify that, make a move. So it doesn't really matter who you have on your bench at this point. What matters is who's in your lineup and who's not in your opponent's lineup. So all kinds of neat little tricks and strategies to implement for the playoffs. You got all the articles and advice over on the website. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe. We would appreciate it. And check out the subscription thing that we've got going as well. You can get in there and untapped, unlimited fantasy stats, data, and advice. So any questions you have, if you want immediate access to things, check that out. been working hard on that. As you got, sir. You're raising your hand like
Don't be afraid to plant the flag at the 50. Don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid. Come at me. Whoever, get that shit out of here.
Did you
Especially
see
if it's on
that?
Ohio State's 50.
Yeah. Like,
Especially if it's on Ohio State's 50. We're going to say planting a flag's a felony now. What are we coming to? 49ers, Rams tonight. McAdoo. It's our last thing as always.
damn it! I didn't set my picks today. Hold on. Give me stall.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stall because I got to look up the actual spread where we're at here right now. Anyways, or I could just find a consensus or something and throw that at you real quick. Stalling. This is a big NFC West showdown.
Yes. Like I said,
for sure.
I have an 8-team parlay that was all the division winners. My pick this year was the San Francisco 49ers to win the West. If they lose this game, I am pretty much SOL with that money. $10 to win $2,000 something dollars. 2 of the division winners have already hit. So,
okay.
All right. We need
the
Ravens to come back. We need the Falcons to come back.
Ravens ain't coming back. Falcons are done. I'm giving you a 3-point spread. 49ers laying 3 at home against the Rams. Thursday night football. Give us a winner. Come on now. Who you like?
Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams straight up. I don't know why they're getting 3. And then.
So what you're saying is your division winners parlay.
I don't trust the Niners. Right? They're injured to hell. They're like the Saints right now. They're injured to hell and back, but they're just somehow better. That's what it is.
The contrarian in me kind of wants to lay it, but that's why I ask you what you would do with the spread. All right. Good stuff. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. McAdoo, one more for the people at the gun. Clarity, Jonathan Taylor or Marvin Harrison Jr., full PPR, starting Charbonnet in that slot if Kenneth Walker misses.
Fully agree.
So I like
Give
that.
me JT.
Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor versus Marvin Harrison. I think I would have to. I think I'd be inclined to agree with you on that. Yeah. So if Walker misses, we like Charbonnet. If it's Taylor or Marvin Harrison, Jonathan Taylor would be the play.
Okay. Parlay for tonight. LA Rams money line. Touchdown scorer Puka Nacua and over 69.5 yards for Juwan Jennings.
Okay. I won't be playing it, but best of luck to you. Oh no, Niners feel contrarian. I haven't looked at splits or anything. They just feel a little contrarian after that big Rams win last week, so we'll see. Good luck, everyone, with the playoffs. Keep it tuned in, FLURRYSports.org. Might have some more fantasy content coming down the pike the next couple days extra for the playoffs, so we'll see on that. And we'll talk to you next week, if not sooner. Thank you for joining.